Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. My name is Alex Dworkin and I'm a managing partner at 40 Capital. We specialize in one-of-a-kind, very unique approach to the stock market where we calculate the market and individual stocks in three-dimensional space at the very least. And when we do, perfect order essentially emerges, and that allows us to predict the market or individual stocks in both price and time and on multiple time frames. Whether it's long-term or short-term, doesn't really matter. Now, I personally believe our work is nearly identical to what Jim Simmons was able to accomplish at Renaissance Technologies, if you are familiar with Jim. Now, our primary goal as a money management firm is to identify equities that will increase in value 2, 3, 5, 10x. So we're basically looking for companies like NVIDIA, Tesla, Microsoft, Apple, Bitcoin, so on and so forth, before they stage their massive runs and multi-x returns on investment. So that's our primary focus, and we've developed an entire system, and our calculations essentially support that in order to identify those companies. In the description of this video, there's going to be a link where you can click and request a free trial, and you can see some of the stocks that we are taking positions in, and we're currently analyzing and we're currently predicting breakouts for. So that's very helpful for those who want to get access to that information. Today's a little bit different. We typically look at individual stocks and run analysis. Today's a little bit different because I had a couple of requests to look at Align Technologies. It's a stock on analysis of the stock that we did a couple of weeks ago. It's playing out perfectly, and I had a number of questions whether the stock has hit bottom, and I'm going to answer that. So we're going to take a look at that analysis very briefly, and then I'm going to show you something very cool. We just run an analysis. We call them super equities, but it's essentially our software has the ability to calculate the entire S&P 500 in three-dimensional space and tell us which stocks will increase significantly or decrease significantly, and when that move is going to start. So I'm going to show you the output, and feel free to take screenshots. So let's just jump into it and see what we have. So first on the docket is Align Technologies. If you don't recall, a couple of weeks ago we did an analysis saying that Align Technologies gonna bottom, put in a very important bottom right here. I'm not gonna get into the details of the analysis. You can look, search YouTube, our channel for that particular analysis. But the gist of it was that it's the bottom, a very important bottom is coming up. Once the bottom is put in place, Align Technologies is gonna run up into this major top quite significantly and relatively fast. So that was the overall forecast. So at that time, Align Technologies was trading at approximately a little over $200 a share, and our forecast was that there are two secondary targets. Well, there were two targets, not secondary targets, but there were two targets. One was at $140 a share or $45 a share plus or minus $10. But the secondary target was $120 a share plus or minus $5 a share. And at that time we said that once we get closer to the time turning point associated with this particular bottom, then we'll know which bottom is going to play out. So we had earnings, I believe a couple of days ago and probably closer to a week ago, and the stock basically cratered. You can see that particular move here. Let me zoom out or zoom in very quickly. So you can see the stock crater from over $200 a share to it broke our first level of $145 a share, and it is pointing basically what happened. It is pointing towards a secondary level associated with this particular bottom projection, that is $120 plus or minus $5, which is the green region here or the beginning of this particular region here. So to answer the questions that I received, the bottom is basically not yet in. We should anticipate it in both price and time a little bit later, and if you're interested in that, I definitely encourage you to request a free trial. Once again, there's no strings attached, there's no credit card required, none of that stuff. Now, let me show you something even cooler than that. Okay, so if you recall, I did a video a couple of weeks ago showing you let me first open this, showing you the how our software works and what it is able to calculate. And today I'm going to show you some of the output that it generated, and I encourage you to take screenshots if you want, because these are the stocks, at least according to our software, that will move fairly fast. So what our software does behind the scenes is it calculates the stock market. Well, in this particular case, it calculates the entire S&P 500, all individual stocks in three-dimensional space, and then on top of that, it overlays some of our timing variables. And those timing variables essentially allow us to ascertain not only the price parameter of any particular stock on its top and bottom, but also the timing parameter of it. So it gives us a turning point, okay? And what we've set our system to do is we set our system to identify three primary goals, I guess you should say, or three primary parameters is probably a better statement, where it is a very clear turning point. So at times our work, well, depending on which stock you're looking at times it projects a very accurate forecast, and at times the forecast is not so accurate. So we are only looking for those stocks that are very clear in their upcoming turning point, whether it's top or bottom. Then we're looking for the second parameter, which is we're looking for a very small margin of error associated with that particular turning point. Usually 1, 3, 5% at the most. And that gives us the margin of safety that we require before we take any sort of a position. Because if it fails, if the forecast or the actual stock fails below, as the case here, any particular forecast, then we know that the forecast has failed and we can get out with a small loss. Now, this is mind-boggling. Our system, it is then, once it identifies this point, it uses that point to calculate what the next move is going to be, also in time and price. And that's what the output that I'm about to show you is going to reveal. Okay? As the chart here indicates, it is able to project the extent of the move and the time frame associated with it. So we know how much and how long it will take for that particular stock to appreciate. Now we can do the same thing on the short side. So let me show you the output that we're getting. Okay, so we can do the same thing on the short side, but it is, as you know, a little bit more difficult, more risky to play on that particular dark side. Let's put it that way. So we are usually looking only at the long side. So just to give you an indication, our software was able to generate 46 stocks on the long sides and 32 stocks on the short side. So the spreadsheet you're looking at is, let me move myself to the side here. So the spreadsheet that you're looking at are stocks associated with the long side. Okay, so there are approximately 46 of them. Now I've deleted the top portion here because this is for our private use, but the rest of them you can use. Now, mind you, let me just very clearly state that this is the first step of the research process. So while our system is able to calculate all of those things, we still have to go in by hand and we have to verify the forecast. So based on our experience, approximately 60% of the stocks that we present or that you see here on the list will work out just as forecasted. But the rest of them are perhaps not. So what we typically do is we go into each individual stocks and we see whether or not the forecast is actually close to what our software has identified, and then we confirm the analysis. And if we confirm the analysis, then that's great. We can issue targeting specification for any particular stock, but if we're not, we dismiss it. But once again, approximately 50 to 60% of these positions will work out. Okay, we do have to make time and price adjustments at times, so be very careful if you're trading based on this only. Be very careful, because once again, we go in and we analyze it with the rest of our tools. We take a look at the short-term composition of any particular stock in order to come up with those final targets. We call it targeting analysis. That's when we actually set it up to take positions. And that's pretty much it. So the only other thing I wanted to say is that all of that information is available within our service. We do have a free trial. Once again, no credit card, no strings attached, just request it, and then you'll be able to see all of these positions as they come up and are deposited on our trigger list for the upcoming trades. That's what we have. We also have a webinar coming up tomorrow where we discuss what the overall stock market is going to do. We typically don't talk about it for various reasons. We want to keep the information to ourselves, and the rest of the information is there as well if you'd like to learn about our calculations, how we calculate the market, see proof, and the rest of that stuff. There's a link in the description of this video as well. So that's it for today. Thank you very much for your time. Have a wonderful day ahead, and we'll be back with another update tomorrow, where we're going to be looking at one of the new fast movers that we've identified over the last couple of days. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.